Good afternoon. Welcome. Yes, I am still wearing the same shirt. This is not one of those things where Trina's going to wear the same outfit for every time I do videos, but I'm making lots of videos on the same day because for one thing, it is the second, like really hot day that we've had. And it's Sunday afternoon. I typically do my yard work and I'm going to wait until it gets cooler. So I'm wearing something that I can wear outside to help alleviate the heat when it's time, but I'm not ready to go out there yet. So I'm making more videos. So welcome. And I want to talk a little bit about who I am and what I do in case this is the first video that you are seeing. My name is Trina. I am a self-development coach in the post-betrayal transformation, it's PBT Institute community. And I will put a link to PBT in the comments or in the notes from this video in case you're curious and want to learn more. There's a quiz you can take there to find out if you suffer from post-betrayal syndrome. All of that is discovered and taught by Dr. Debbie Silber, and I have been trained and vetted by her to be a coach in her community, but my specialty within the community is self-development coaching. I have 4 coaching certifications in addition to the PBT one, which makes me a master coach in Transformation Academy training. I have certifications there in basic life coaching, life purpose coaching, happiness coaching, and goal success coaching. And I am a lifelong learner. I'm motivated by learning, and self-development is something I'm passionate about. I'm always reading nonfiction books, about ways that I can try to have a better life. And I'm passionate about sharing what I learn. So I'm sharing it in that community with people who are recovering from betrayal, but I'm also sharing it here on my YouTube channel because I make this content for the classes. But then I want to share it publicly for free and for fun. And I won't ever share anything here that is confidential to anyone in the community. When I give classes in the community, there is an opportunity for people to be live on the coaching with me. And so I can interact with them and answer questions and things like that. And people can also have one-on-one coaching with me in the community. If you're interested in that, hit me up, let me know, and I could work something out with you. But right now, I just feel like I'm putting these classes together. I want to share the information and try to help make the world a little better place. So it's self-development content through the lens of helping people recover from betrayal, which is devastating, particularly to our sense of self. The questions that we ask ourselves: why did someone do this to me? What's wrong with me? I want to help people feel better, grow, and learn, and recover from that. But it's content that can be used for any purpose. This actually was one of the most popular classes that I've given so far. This was my number 5 class in the community, and life's been a little hectic. I'm a person who has suffered from seasonal affective disorder in the summertime for as long as I can remember. And so we are leading up to the first day of summer is like these couple weeks is, which is where we are in the calendar right now, has traditionally been the hardest time for me. So I have fallen a little bit behind on making the video. So I'm catching up today because I give myself permission to rest when I feel tired and to unplug when I need to unplug, and to plug into Netflix when I just need to plug into Netflix and not do anything else. But today I had some quality time with some friends this morning, and I'm feeling really good about going ahead and getting these videos done. So I'm sharing, but this class is about what's your self-love language? And like I said, this had great response in the community, so I hope that you will find it helpful. I do always start my class with a win of the week, and the I've been sharing the one that I gave during the class. So some of these are a little bit outdated so far as real life goes, but they're something that within the few days before the class I came up with to share on the day that I gave the class. And so for the same week that I gave this class, I had just done my tap dance recital, real live, on stage tap dance, choreographed by the best tap dance teacher ever, who happens to be my daughter. I never took tap dance as a kid, so I have no like muscle memory, like I don't have because I've seen people who like, oh, I haven't taken it in 20 years, be able to pick it up again really quickly because they had the skills from their youth, but I didn't have that. So my oldest daughter is really, really super good at tapping, and so maybe she got those genes from me because I am able to learn it. Like, who knew at this age and stage I would be. This was my third year taking tap dance classes, and I really enjoy it. So we were able to do an outdoor performance this year, and so that was my win of the week, along with cutting off my hair. If you see my first video or two, my hair was much longer, and I chopped it off. I got it up today because sweltering weather, but I got a cute little angled bob, and I'm loving it. And it was time for that to happen. So back to the topic of the class, which is your self-love language. If you know anything about love languages, your self-love, spoiler alert, your self-love language is your love language. You have one love language. It's typically how you show love, and it's how you want to receive love. And Dr. Gary Chapman is the author of the book and the founder and creator of the quiz and this way of thinking about how we give and receive love. But I think something that he's really missed is using it on ourselves, directing our love language right back at ourselves. I feel like he doesn't utilize that. He uses, I think it was on a video I watched, he may use it in the book, an analogy of your, like in a relationship, you have a, gas tank of, and things that make you feel loved in your love language fill up your gas tank. And so he's encouraging you to fill up your spouse's love, love gas tank, or your children's love gas tank. But I'm encouraging you to fill up your own damn tank. Fill up your own tank. Find out what it takes to fill up your tank and make sure that you get it. Get it from yourself. You can love yourself. This to me is kind of the root of all like self-care type, we're all overworked, we're all overscheduled, like that kind of stuff. And everybody's telling us to do self-care. I think the first step to good self-care is understanding what makes you feel cared for, what makes you feel loved, your self-love language, if you will. So you can learn your love language on 5lovelanguages.com. It's the number 5. And the first time I took it years ago, I think there was just one quiz. Now there's actually 4 different quizzes. There's a couples quiz, a children's quiz, a teen quiz, and a singles quiz. So it may just change the format of the questions, but your love language is always going to be kind of the same. And I've read the original book. I've read the For Singles book, and I actually read the original book again when the PBT community, which I joined as a member, I was a founding member of it, June 2020 during pandemic, during my betrayal that really sent me over the edge finally, to put it mildly. I was already doing her coursework online due to my divorce, when something else happened that I considered a betrayal, because a betrayal is anytime that someone promises to have your back and then stabs you in it. So, and it can be just that you thought they would have your back and they didn't. And so something happened that literally was the final last straw for me, that well, I was already having some serious physical PTSD, actual PTSD symptoms um, that were causing me cognitive disabilities. And like Dr. Debbie talks about the symptoms of post-betrayal syndrome. And let's just say I had like 20 years of betrayals, like stacked on top of each other, that I thought I had dealt with. Like I recovered from them. I was resilient, but resilience is bouncing back to the place that you were. And what Dr. Debbie wants us to have, and that she found is possible through her research. And, if you get past a certain point, is actually transformation instead of resilience. So resilience, just gets you back to where you were, but there's transformation actually possible that breaks the old molds, gets away, the old limited ways of thinking, and actually create something new. And so that's what being a member of the PBT Institute was able to do for me. And so when I had the opportunity early this year, 2021, to join her coaching program and become a coach in the community, that was something that I did. But so within the community, this was a book club book. And so I went back through the 5 Love Languages book with other members of the community, as a discussion point. And it, I had already started thinking about this point of like, what if I use my love language on myself? I've known for several years, I made the kids take it. I was, married at the time, made my now ex-husband take it. And I knew that I didn't always know, but I discovered that my love language is acts of service. And then so many things made sense to me about the things I was frustrated about, because I would do things for people and they didn't appreciate it. They, nobody did things for me, kind of thing. So I felt unappreciated by not receiving my love language. So I said, what if I just do things for myself? What if I do acts of service for myself to show myself love? And it was kind of a game changer for me. And everybody has a primary one. You may have 2 that are close together. A close second to my acts of service is quality time. And so that I'll tell you all 5 of them now, in case you don't know them or not familiar. Quality time, physical touch is one, words of affirmation, gifts, receiving and giving gifts, and acts of service. Those are the 5 love languages. And so here are some of my ideas that I have for how to show yourself self-love in each of those. And like I said, my top 2 are acts of service and quality time. So I probably have better ideas for those. I think gifts and physical touch are probably my lowest, if I'm remembering correctly. And so words of affirmation is like in the middle. That might be, I might have the bottom ones out of order, but so what I really want people to do is come up with their own list of things for their own love language here. But these are some suggestions that I had, and I got some good feedback on them. And I might, I won't ever reveal anything from the community that's confidential, but another coach mentioned something to me that I thought was funny that I'll mention when I get to that part. But like I said, if anything I say doesn't, you're like, this is your love language and that doesn't sound right to you, then don't do it. We're all self-responsible, right? So, and if you think of better ones, I would love to hear in a comment, like what your ideas are for how you can use your love language directed at yourself. So for words of affirmation, I think it's especially important for people with that as their love language to avoid negative self-talk and to reframe those kind of things, to use positive mantras. I used as an example something that Dr. Debbie, who's created PBT, has shared with us, that instead of saying like, oh, that was silly or that was so dumb of me, like if she does something, like absent-minded kind of or whatever, she and everyone in her family will say, that's adorable. I'm like, Mom, you were so adorable right then. That thing you did was so adorable. And she will say that about herself. Oh, that, wasn't that just adorable of me? Which is reframing, when she feels like she's made a mistake. Oh, wasn't that adorable? And so like, if there's something that you catch yourself saying, like calling yourself a name or whatever, like find something cute to replace it with it, and use that. And yeah, like enlist other people if you have the opportunity, but our focus for today is what you direct at yourself. So everybody nowadays talks a lot about gratitude. Let's make a gratitude list. I've talked about it in the elevation class that I gave. But if your love language is words of affirmation, make a gratitude list about yourself. Things about you that you are grateful for. And if your love language is words of affirmation, say nice things out loud to yourself. I want to reframe how you think inside, like more positive internal dialogue, but sometimes that has to start on the outside. It would be easier like when we verbalize it, and it's good for people with words of affirmation as their love language. They need to hear positive words. If you say it out loud, you will hear it. So say, if you did something awesome, say good job. Say I did a good job. Say that was great. Say it out loud. I said, if someone hears you, just say you were talking to a cat or something. So there's also, I signed up for Cosmic RX. I get a daily affirmation text from them. So that's not really me saying something to myself, but they're worded that way. They say I am. And so if find a service like that, or however, whatever speaks to you. But there's got to be other ones available that will send you a daily affirmation. And that could be something really great for a person with words of affirmation love language to sign up for. The next one is gifts. So the most obvious might be buy yourself something, but also I understand, especially in maybe a betrayal situation, like, a lot of times we're losing an income, or paying a lawyer, like things like that financial situations, or two lawyers if you're me. But there's situations where money might be tight, money might be scarce, as my youngest always says, in this economy. So there are other options for gift love language people, such as making something. And a lot of times, because especially if your love language is gifts, you're a giver. So you might be a crafty person. You might knit, crochet. So, like do whatever your favorite craft is, but you're always giving those things away. What if you make something and keep it for yourself? A friend of mine did this and made a lovely, beautiful sweater for herself, like a summertime, lightweight sweater. And just the pictures that she posted of herself wearing it, she was totally lit up, looked lovely and beautiful. And she gave that gift to herself. It wasn't that she made a sweater and she kept it. She did make a sweater and she kept it, but she made a sweater and she gave it to herself. That is the key when your love language is gifts. Think about things like taking your daily supplements or vitamins, eating properly, exercising as a gift to your body. That can be a good reframe for people who have this love language. And gift people tend to really care about marking special occasions. So finding a way to do that, or making your own special occasions, drinking sparkling water out of a champagne glass, using the fine china, like these are things that a person whose love language is gifts might appreciate, like might feel more as an act of love towards themselves, in comparison to other people who gifts are not that important to. Like, so those are some of my ideas for those. This is the one, physical touch. One of my co-coaches, a fellow coach in the community, said, because my very first suggestion for that is like, ramp up your skincare. Like when you're putting your face creams on, when you're washing your face, like that kind of stuff, really pay attention to the physical touch aspect of that, and like appreciate your own touch on your own face, doing this act of care for yourself. And so one of the fellow coaches said, I think about you every time I do my skincare now, which was really thrilling to me to hear that, that because physical touch is one of my lower ones. So I was like, I don't know if that's really a good suggestion or not, but but he said, he's, the fact that he's standing in front of his mirror doing his skincare and thinking of me telling him to love himself, just cracked me up. And he said like that was really impactful to him. So thanks for that. If you ever watch this, but he's already watched my class on the community, so I don't suspect he will come watch my YouTube video also. But also self-massage, or even just self-hugging. Like if you're feeling stressed or whatever, like actually just putting your own hands on your own self. Self-massage, dry brushing can be a really good act of care for someone whose physical touch is their love language. Also, wearing something that feels good against your skin, wrapping up in a super cozy one of those blankets that just feels like it's going to melt, which I feel like I'm going to melt today. It's, like I mentioned, it's super hot outside, but so maybe today it would be wearing a light flowy fabric or something. But when your love language is physical touch, pay attention to what's touching your skin and make sure it's something that feels really good and luxurious, and whatever the definition of feels good is to you. Also suggest to go outside and let the sunshine touch your skin. Let the sun, feel the sun on your face. When your love language is physical touch, get in touch with that feeling. Take off your shoes, put your toes in the grass, like any kind of thing like that, that you can take advantage of touch. Maybe rolling down the window in the car, feeling the breeze, like just do, simple things like that can be an act of self-love to yourself, and that touch can be meaningful. The fourth one is quality time. And some ways to make use of this to yourself, self-love language, is to have be sure to allow yourself some downtime, some alone time, quality time with yourself. That's a thing. This could be good time for journaling. It could be, take yourself on a date. I've taken myself to the art museum before. Just, I love to go to the art museum with other people, but sometimes just sitting quietly in front of a painting and absorbing it and appreciating it and walking around and perusing at my own pace and my own speed is a really great way to just spend some time with myself. The key here is uninterrupted attention directed at yourself, not being distracted by, I'm alone, but I'm on my phone the whole time, or, something like that, like actual alone time, paying attention to yourself. Um, that is my key for a quality time. And I save the best for last, the one that I have the most experience with, which is active service. So I practice this a lot because it is my number one. And I did make a commitment to myself to try to do this for myself. So now I basically kind of reframe almost everything as like an act of service to myself. Like I mentioned, I take tap dance class. Driving myself to tap dance class and making sure that I get to tap dance class on time, and making sure ahead of time that I have my shoes and I have comfortable socks, and like those kind of things, like those might really kind of like fall into a lot of other categories, but I frame them as acts of service to myself. It's a service to myself to not worry about being late by leaving early. It's a service to myself, you know, to make sure that I have my shoes. Things like taking out the trash and doing laundry, I frame those as an act of service to myself. I want to have, no trash. I want to have clean clothes. What kind of sparked me to see those as acts of services myself is I realized that I considered them acts of service to my family when I did it for them, right? So if it's an act of service to them, why wouldn't it be an act of service to me? So it is. This was one of the biggest like epiphanies for me when it comes to this doing acts of service at myself, was doing something now as an act of service to my future self. So this has helped me to not procrastinate, to say, because I have a reminder, like speaking of taking out the trash, I have a reminder on Monday evening to take out the trash so I don't have to worry about doing it early on Tuesday morning. And that's, like when it pops up on Monday and I'm like, oh, I could just wait and do it in the morning kind of thing. I'm like, nope. Tuesday morning Trina is really going to appreciate and feel loved that Monday evening Trina set the trash out on the curb, so that Tuesday morning Trina didn't have to find her pants. So that it has helped me to not procrastinate, to view it as an act of service to my future self, to go ahead and do the thing now. So there's lots of reframing that you can do like that, I'm sure, with any of the love languages. That just happens to be mine. And so it happens to be one that I have more practice with. But I would absolutely love to hear your ideas, suggestions. If you think any of mine were total crap, I would love to hear about that too. It'd be nice if you could put it nicely, but nobody knows your love language like you do. And I hope you will practice it at yourself. Like I said, go check out the quiz if you don't know what it is. I'll try to find I'll get a link to the 5 love languages quiz and put it there. I'll put a link to the PBT community, and feel free to like, subscribe, all that kind of fun stuff. Put a thumbs up. Like these videos this is my number 5, so our early work in progress. I hope they'll get better as they go along, but I hope you find something you can use out of this. And thank you.